So, should you learn Python as a C and C++ developer? This is a really good, interesting topic. And as a C and C++ developer for the last 10 years, I have some thoughts on this. I started off on l'équipe process doing DevOps, which is what we call it nowadays, but good luck finding a C++ related job title named that. And doing that, doing C and C++, there are some really good reasons why you should. Now, if you go on the internet, you're probably going to find a bunch of trash comments being like, Python is crap. Don't use this. It's written in Python. It should have been written in C++, right? Performance is crap. Don't ever use it. It's terrible. But people used to say this about Java, and yet that's been super successful. So is Python, right? So if we take off that troll face internet guy and we try to actually figure out what's going on, there's some really anecdotal evidence to suggest that you probably should. And that's my hot take on this is you should learn Python. Right? So this is something super common we see. C++ programmers, how do you feel about Python? Right? And I love Python. Just get the right tool for the right job. Right? The key to language is never performance. But for small scripts, just run once. Yeah, it's fantastic. Right? And look over here, Jay Mancy. Python is a really good for pipelines, text processing, small UI tool side, great for embedded in other tools, right? And using it in for DevOps CI, I prefer it over shell, right? And this is true and it's been well proven, right? So Meeting C++ runs annual surveys regularly. So if you've never tried filling out one of these, you can go to meetingc++.com and fill them out. And if you look here, the two tallest by far are C, and the only second to that is Python, right? And the third highest by a very small margin is Bash. And then you have Java and JavaScript, right? And the reason this is so much higher than Bash is because it's cross-platform. Being able to like easily write CI/CD scripts and build your project over any operating system, right? Like no one ever works on only one, and if you do, you're super lucky. But for most of us, you need to make it work on Windows, Linux, Mac. Maybe embedded. Maybe you have different cloud distros you need to support, and for that reason is why you probably should learn Python, right? And if we take a look at something like CMake, what's the hate all about for CMake? Is it just me, or is CMake really complicated? Is CMake difficult? Fighting through a CMake hell, right? CMake is hell of a software. And there's a ton of hate for it, and it's probably because CMake has become a Swiss Army knife. C and C++ developers just grab this without thinking and try to overcomplicate their CMake to make it do things you probably don't want to make it do, right? And there are a ton of great software other than CMake that you're probably already using that's written in Python. Couple examples, Maison. This is one of the best build systems out there that's super competitive. This is my second pick for our build system. Just by far, it's wonderful. Python, 80% of the code is written in Python, right? And there's a little bit of CMake and other things, but that's all for testing. Next up, you have Scones, another fabulous build system, right? This one, again, written in Python. There's a reason C and C++ build toolchains are written in Python, right? And the reason why is because this is how easy it becomes to build a project. There's no complicated CMake, where do you find the sources? How do you declare things, right? You get a very simple, clean syntax that's easy to understand, that's concise, right? And because it's Python, you can do things like build yourself an SDK, which is what you get when you use things like Conan, right? So you can import from Conan a Conan file, right? You can import file helpers for copying files, getting files, and downloading them, right? You can use Python dictionaries to do complicated work. And you can do some pretty complicated things and express some complicated ideas, like I need to have validate logic where I have a minimum C++ depending on the compiler version. Writing this type of logic in CMake, if you had multiple conditionals for different operating systems, perhaps different features require different compiler compatibility, Writing that in CMake is exceptionally hard. That's why it's too complicated. That's why people get confused easily. It's because of things like this. You know, downloading source code files. Yes, CMake has file download expected hash, but what about caching mechanisms? What if you need to mirror that source, right? If you want to do that in CMake, you have to do it manually. You have to set up variables. You have to, and it just gets overwhelming so quickly. And with other Python-based tool scripts, you don't have to do that. Coding here is an example, right? So going back to our original, why should you learn Python? Yeah, it's so much easier for writing CI/CD scripts, right? You can do things from the command line like cmake -e make dir, but you can also do that from Python with os.makedir. And like demystifying Python as being bad compared to C++, yeah, sure, for some performance specific application. If you need to write a piece of software that uses a battery, right, you're not going to pick Python because it's not efficient. But for your CI/CD, for your testing, for DevOps, you absolutely want to pick something that's painless to use on any distro, on any system, on any operating system that has a long proven track record of compatibility. And it's as simple as that.